Oh, I'm so happy Bears football is back. Oh, what a glorious day. They return to the gridiron. You got high hopes for the season, and you go out and you just stomp the Cleveland Browns. That, my friends, is worth celebrating. The Chicago Bears stomp the Cleveland Browns into smithereens with a dominating 34-10 beatdown in week 1 of the 2026 NFL preseason. The Bears scored the final 34 points of the game. Yeah, they were actually down 10-0 in this one. The game was tied 10-10 at halftime before the Bears took over in the second half. What a nice game, and it's just so nice to have Bears football back. Welcome to the Chicago Sports Corner, everybody. I'm Alex. Glad you're here along for the ride, whether you're a new-time viewer or an old-time viewer. This is my 7th season doing a video after every single Bears game. This is the 3rd year I am doing a video after each preseason game on top of the regular season games. Now, if you've been a long-time viewer of the channel, you know that I started doing these videos while I was in college for the first time. My freshman year of college, when I was 18, was the first year that I did that. The 2020 season during COVID. That was, hey, I got off to a great start. Those first 5-6 videos, awesome. The Bears were winning in crazy fashion. Rest of that year, not so great, and they whimpered out in the playoffs, but that's besides the point. If you've been watching long enough, you know that I've had these flags up before. When I was in my apartment at school, I had these up the last 2 years, if I'm correct. Yeah, the last 2 years I was there. I had all these flags up, kind of decorating my room. Obviously, I am not there anymore. This is my childhood room. There used to be a guitar up there. There used to be just some random poster there, or in a picture frame. That's gone. Those have been up there since I've lived here, which is a long time. It's been over a decade since I've been in this house. And so, yeah, I decided I wanted to change it up, make it more fitting for the channel and the videos to look a little bit more lively and less depressing. I guess. I don't know. I wanted to switch it up and make it a little bit more Chicago sports centric to ring in the new season. And ring in the new season, the Chicago Bears did, let me tell you. That was a fantastic performance. It was a little rocky there in the first half, I'm not going to lie. But the second half, they took over, and man, it was just a beatdown out of the locker room. Yes, despite winning 34-10, the Bears were down 10-0. Casey Concepcion was able to score a rushing touchdown, and he had his way with some of the Bears defenders in the early goings of this game. And I'm not too surprised. He's the Browns' first-round draft pick. He's kind of highly touted out of Texas A&M. I think he's going to have a really good season for the Cleveland Browns. I can really just see he's really fast on his feet. He's going to be a good receiver for Cleveland. If the quarterbacks that they have can get him the football and get him in space, because Cleveland did not have a very good game. Deshaun Watson played his first football since 2024. I completely forgot that he actually injured his ACL again and completely missed the 2025 season. So this is the first time that we've seen Deshaun Watson out on the football field in almost 2 years. And he looked fine. He just looked pedestrian. He went 11 for 15, which is he had good completion percentage, but no one's going to sit there and tell you that he played astoundingly well. That's the thing. Because it just wasn't that type of game for any of the Browns quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders came in the second half and he threw a pick. Had a nice throw early, but kind of washed away by a bad pick. Dylan Gabriel came in after that, and he was even worse with another terrible interception. So the Browns quarterback play was just not very good, and they're going to be screwed this year because all 3 of those guys are fighting for the starting job, and I'm not sold on any of them. The only guy I'm not sold on is Dylan Gabriel because I feel like Shedeur Sanders probably played the best of any of the Browns quarterbacks that started last season, and that's not saying much. Cleveland just played really bad all game long. Casey Concepcion was really the only bright spot that he was the only bright spot for their offense, and he did get in the end zone to open the second quarter. That's when the Bears took over. It was pretty much right after that the Bears took over. Because again, despite winning 34-10, the Bears started this game really poorly on offense. 2 consecutive 3-and-outs from Tyson Bagent and the second offense. Not what you're looking for. And then it was their first play after the Casey Concepcion touchdown run where Tyson Bagent would hit up with Caden Davis for a long 41-yard gain. Really nice game from Caden Davis, the receiver out of Northwest Missouri State, down at the Division II ranks. Despite him being 27 years old, this is his first season in the NFL, and he had a nice debut. 4 catches for 88 yards, all coming in the first half. The bulk of those yards was on that 41-yard completion, but he made a couple nice catches, including one late in the first half on a nice go route. Tyson Bagent put it in a nice spot, and he made a really good contested catch. That was the farthest they would get on that drive, but still, Caden Davis had a very impressive day as he made another nice catch in the second level on that 2-minute drive as well. I liked what I saw from Davis. Unfortunately, after Davis's 41-yard catch, the Bears would not pick up a first down after that, and they'd have to settle for a field goal, which Cairo Santos missed from 50 yards out. And out of the closet comes all the Cairo Santos deniers that are nervous about Cairo Santos being the kicker again. But I was like, look, it's the first one. It's preseason. I'm not happy, but guys, no one's perfect. And he played well the rest of the game. The other 2 field goals that he had to kick, nailed from a similar range, 49 and 51 respectively. So I'm not too worried about it. Plus, the kicking unit's got a new long snapper. I think that there's probably a little bit of disconnect. I think the kicking game's going to be fine. I'm not going to overreact on one missed kick in a preseason game in which the Bears won by 24 points. I'm not going to worry about it right now. If we continue to see some struggles through the other preseason games and into week 1, week 2, then I'm going to have some more things to talk about, but I'm not worried about that. Now, you think the Bears would continue to spiral after the missed kick, but that's actually where the momentum shifts. On 4th down, Deshaun Watson gets hit, sacked, loses the ball, and it's recovered by the same guy who sacked him, Jamri Chroma, with a strip sack and fumble recovery on 4th down to get the Bears the football back. Chroma was in for the majority of the game, and he had a fantastic day. Finished the day with 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, the forced fumble and fumble recovery. He was all over the place on the field in this one, and I was really impressed with what he could do. I would love to see more continuing. I'd love to see what Chroma can do in the next 2 preseason games. See if he can sneak in to the roster or find a good spot on the practice squad when evidently some guy gets hurt. Then the Bears offense wakes up. Tyson Bagent a couple nice passes on the drive. It's capped off by beautiful play design from Ben Johnson. Tyson Bagent starts to roll to his left on play action, or to his right, on play action, and right across the middle, he leads on Maurice Alexander perfectly, catches it in stride, is able to break the tackle, and he's home free for a touchdown, and the Bears are on the board. Maurice Alexander with the first touchdown of the preseason for the Bears for a 2nd consecutive season. I like what I saw from Maurice Alexander as well. I thought he was probably the wide receiver that impressed me the most. A lot of people are going to be talking about Caden Davis and the couple catches that he made, and he absolutely should be getting his flowers for that. But I really liked what Maurice Alexander was able to do in the first half of this game as well. Bears tied up 10-10 at halftime. Case Keenum walks out of the locker room to start the second half, and it's a quick drive. As on a 2nd and 4, he rolls out and is going to quickly take a screen dump off to Salman Ahmed. And Ahmed is able to take it all the way 49 yards for a touchdown. Unbelievable blocking on this play. Ahmed made a nice move or two to get into the open field, which allowed him to score. But I really love the blocking from the offensive line and the receivers on this play. It, to me, shows that this coaching staff has been emphasizing the importance of pass blocking, run blocking, and blocking on screen passes, like blocking downfield. The blocking was exquisite on this play. And I especially love seeing Caden Barnett, number 76 in the offense, if you go watch the playback. He lays down a crucial block. It just shoves a guy to the ground on this play. He was getting a little bit of attention right after the post-draft process because he just looked like an offensive lineman. Had like the massive face paint. He was called the Vanilla Gorilla. What a nickname. And he laid down a crucial block for that touchdown, and the Bears took their first lead of the game, which they would not relinquish. And then the game starts to get away from Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders starts the second half for the Browns. He makes a nice throw against the blitz on third down. The Browns get in the red zone. And then on fourth down and short, the Browns decide to be aggressive, which you should be in the preseason. Why not try some of these fourth and short type of plays down in the red zone? This is where you workshop this type of stuff. They try to run power. That was a terrible play call. Sanders was late getting the handoff, and they got nothing. Absolutely nothing on the play. And the Bears go down the other way. Case Keenum dices up the Browns defense, makes a very nice throw on a fourth and short to Ray McLeod, who was just acquired a couple weeks ago, I think last week. He had a couple catches in the second half, and then finds Britton Brown on a nice short receiving touchdown to extend the Bears' lead. And on the ensuing drive, Shedeur Sanders throws a pick, and that was it. Dillon Gabriel looked lost, threw another pick. Beanie Bishop had both the interceptions for the Bears in this one, by the way. They both came on third downs, and they were overthrows by Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. Beanie Bishop was there to snag both of them. He had a nice game, got on my radar as we go through the preseason, so very nicely done across the board. Case Keenum finished the game 9 for 10 with 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He got a perfect passer rating for his performance in this one. I mean, I know it's preseason, but perfect passer rating for Case Keenum. I'm pretty sure he feels pretty good about his performance. I don't think the coaching staff's going to need to see much more from Case Keenum, as they have another young rookie quarterback that they can kind of coach up, and that's Miller Moss, who backed up Caleb Williams at USC. Even replaced Caleb Williams when he sat in the Holiday Bowl the year before he was drafted, and he torched Louisville, the school he would actually transfer to. So Miller Moss comes into the game. It's not amazing, but he does end up leading a touchdown drive late in the game. Coleman Bennett with a couple yard scamper to get into the end zone under the 2-minute warning or just above it. I forget exactly. I think it was just above the 2-minute warning, but that would be the final touchdown after the Bears scored another field goal in between those scores. Miller Moss will probably get more second half snaps as the preseason continues. I don't know if we'll see Case Keenum again, and I wouldn't be super surprised if that's the case. But that's it. Bears win 34-10. They absolutely dominate the Cleveland Browns. The second half was just fun to watch because there's little to no stakes. Of course, you want to go out and win, but there's little to no stakes. You're watching the fourth quarter, you're just sitting there. Well, I'm just sitting there. I don't know about you guys, but I was sitting there. I'm so glad that Bears football's back. I'm so happy Bears football's back because we got expectations for this season, which can be a double-edged sword. It means you're excited at the beginning of the season, but it also means if things go wrong, it can make this upcoming season a nightmare. But we're in the preseason phase, so we don't have to worry about that right now. We can just be excited to watch our favorite team play, and it doesn't really matter if they win or lose. Obviously, there are definitely moments where the outcome is important. You know, last year when they played Kansas City and Tyson Bagent led that comeback, and especially that comeback drive to go win it, that was awesome. And that was where we first really thought of Ja'Day Walker as a legit option late in the season. And what do you know? He comes through in one of the biggest moments of the season against the Green Bay Packers to tie it up late in that regular season clash in which the Bears won in overtime, which pretty much cemented them as NFC North champions last year. So there are definitely some important takeaways from winning or losing preseason games, but obviously it's not the top priority, at least when I look at it. I want to see some plays from young players. I want to see some of the backups and some of the unsung stories that could become a big story like Ja'Day Walker. I guess the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous coming out of this game is how this game started. Bears got off to another slow start, and they were starting a lot of their starting defenders. You know, Neville Gallimore, Dio Odengbo, Javon Dexter, Austin Booker were all on the defensive line. Devin Bush played for probably about half of the first quarter. He played a little bit, but it was more just to get familiar in game time scenarios with the defensive play calling from Dennis Allen. That made sense. You got seeded Marco Jackson, Noah Sewell, who were, well-known backups for the Bears last year that came in crucial situations when TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds were hurt at various points during the year. Saw Xavier Woods, Dylan Thieneman was starting a little bit. Got to see Malik Muhammad make a couple of nice plays as well early in the game. So, I mean, we got to see some of the starters go out there. No Jalen Johnson, no Grady Jarrett, no Montez Sweat, no TJ Edwards. Kyler Gordon's obviously hurt. No Tyreek Stevenson. And obviously no Kobe Bryant because he's hurt as well. Which leads me to the final thing I want to talk about before we wrap things up for today. Injuries. Now, I made a couple videos over the summer with Caleb Williams being on the Madden cover, the Hammond situation, which George McCaskey alluded to a little bit more. They're continuing to move forward with Hammond. But I've also heard that Roger Goodell is trying to keep the team in Chicago and is trying to negotiate, yada, yada. It's still such a mess. I am just so exhausted about talking about it, and I want to talk about football. So I'm not going to address any of that. That's as much as I'm going to do about that there. But outside of that, we haven't really talked about the team since the draft video and the offseason recap. Boy, is this team bogged down by injuries on the defense side of the ball already. Kyler Gordon's already hurt. We don't know what timetable he's got till he's coming back. Dude, my leash is getting really thin with Kyler Gordon because it's clear when he's out on the field, the guy's a dog. And he's one of the best nickel corners in the league. And he's such a valuable asset to this defense. But the guy can't stay healthy. The guy can't stay on the football field. And it is really infuriating. I was really hoping this offseason he'd be able to recover and come back strong. I'm hoping that still could be the case. If he has to miss a game or two at the start of the year so he can be there for the majority of the year, fine, whatever. But if we're talking about he's playing less than half the season again, it's not going to be good. And I would not be surprised if he doesn't end up getting re-signed because he can't stay on the field. It's a shame because when he's on the field, he's really good. That's the first of two major injuries in the secondary, by the way. Because Kobe Bryant had a bit of a knee problem. Came off hobbling. Had to be carted off of practice one day during training camp. They interviewed Rome Odunze on NFL Network. He said, he'll be fine. Boy, was he wrong. Oh, was he wrong? I'm not going to Rome Odunze for my medical advice, which, I mean, it's fine. Kobe Bryant was initially supposed to be out for 8 to 10 weeks. And at the time that was reported, it was slated that he was probably going to be back around week 3 at the earliest. Which I was like, oh man, that's actually not too bad. Because I initially thought it was like, oh man, he's going to be out until like week 5 or week 6. But obviously that was early, it was training camp, so that means half that time is, before we're talking the last week of preseason. Anyways, Ben Johnson said, we got no idea. I don't know where you guys got that number. That's not it. We're going to give you a more concrete number when we finish an evaluation. Turns out it's worse. A lot of people thought it was going to be better. It's worse. He's out for 4 to 6 months. And the Bears are hopeful that he can return to the playoffs. Awesome. The guy that they splashed for in free agency to be their Kevin Byard replacement and to be a veteran, a more veteran. I mean, he's been around for 4 or 5 years. He's a veteran at this point. To be a veteran presence for the young safety Dylan Thieneman. And now he's hurt for the long term. 4 months from now, and that was a couple weeks ago. I mean, the earliest that he can come back is December. That's the earliest that he can come back. So we're talking, if we're making a playoff push, he can come back and into the playoffs. But if this team is out of it, and they collapse and they sustain, a couple injuries and they're, 5-7, we're going to call it. I don't know if they'll bring back Kobe Bryant. I don't know if we'll see him this year at all. To put it lightly, that is a brutal blow for the Chicago Bears defense that they're hoping is going to be much better this year. And especially in the secondary that got a ton of takeaways. Kevin Byard had 7. He led the league. Jaquan Brisker had one. Nashawn Wright had 5, and he's not on the team. Kyler Gordon did not get one because he wasn't on the field very much. Jalen Johnson only got 1 because he wasn't on the field very much. Tyreek Stevenson only got 1 interception. So they're going to have a lot to replace production-wise in the secondary. And even then, I realized why they went off of guys like Brisker, Byard, and Wright. They all got 1-year contracts somewhere else because Wright's coverage was not very good last season. Despite having plenty of interceptions, he was still targeted plenty of times and was letting up a lot of touchdowns. Byard, again, he led the league in interceptions. I'll give him a pass there. But Brisker was also allowing a lot of yards. There's a reason why they moved on from those guys. You just hope that the guys that have come in to replace them can, get better. And I know that they were workshopping Malik Muhammad both at corner and at nickel in case they need him in that, situation if Kyler Gordon is not available. So the secondary is definitely the question mark and the position group that has definitely been hurt the most by injuries. And that's not good. Here's the one good thing that has come from all the injury news. Ozzie Trapillo, who had that patellar tendon tear in the final 2-minute drill of the Bears' comeback win against the Green Bay Packers in the wild card. We're looking at that timeline, and it's like, man, we might not see him at all next year. We might not see him at all. There is a feasible chance that Ozzie Trapillo starts week 1. There is a chance that he is available for week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. That is unbelievable, and that is a testament to modern medicine, if anything. I'd say be a little bit cautious. Don't rush him out there if you don't feel confident with him. You got guys that can help out. But if he's good to go, what a boost that's going to be for the offensive line. To wrap things up here, I thought this was a super fun game to watch. It's nice. It's just nice to see Bears football back. I think we can kind of start to see some of the preseason storylines start to show up and some of the guys that I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to watch for. And that, Caden Davis, Maurice Alexander, Jamry Kramoa, Jordan Vanderberg, Malik Muhammad, Caden Barnett. There are a lot of guys that I'm really excited to see going forward throughout the season. Hell, even guys like Ray-Ray McCloud and Scotty Miller, veteran receivers trying to fight for a spot on this roster, had a couple nice moments as well that I'm looking forward to as well. Dominating win. The Bears, and unfortunately, that's the only home game the Bears get this preseason. They will finish against Cincinnati and Tennessee. Next week, they're heading out to Ohio to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Should be interesting. Offensive coordinator Press Taylor will get to go see his brother, head coach Zach Taylor for the Bengals. And we'll see what happens. If the offense is out there for a little bit, maybe a couple drives, the starters at least. Or if we don't see the starters at all, again, we'll see what happens. It's a week from today. Oh, and man, this was a fun watch. Glad to see the Bears football is back, baby. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for stopping by the Chicago Sports Corner. I hope you enjoyed your time. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it and hit the subscribe button if you really liked it. Hey, it's the start of football season. If you want to get on the wagon, if you want to come along for the ride, now is a great time to do so. We still got time before week 1. There's still like almost a month to go. Got the 2 preseason videos left, and I'll be doing my NFL division previews on top of that before we get into the season. It's a great time to be a football fan. It's just kicking back into gear. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. Keep the conversation going in the comments section below. What did you think about this game? What storylines are you most interested in as we continue throughout the preseason? Who impressed you? Who didn't impress you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And I will see you all in the next one. Bear down!